Well, good morning. Today is Thursday, February 15th, and it's also birthdays, two birthdays. The first one is for Ava Benscotter. I know I'm saying your name wrong, but Ava, I'm really sorry, but I'm still going to sing. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Ava, happy birthday to you. And it's also Heather List's birthday too. She had an easy last name, so I didn't have to screw up her last name. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Heather. Happy birthday to you. Birthdays, I love them. I have no plans for today. Just staying home. I'm waiting to see if Jim's working tonight. He's a sub, so they call him in. He usually works every day anyhow, but they haven't called him yet. And if he gets called in, then I'm just going to have some sort of a sandwich and some chili for dinner. But if he doesn't, then I'm going to make a pork chop with some mashed potatoes and probably some stovetop stuffing. And I'll have probably broccoli or cauliflower. I haven't decided, but I'm going to have a vegetable with it. And not eating in between meals today. No snacking. So I'll eat enough at each meal. And I am going to try to get 3 meals in. I really am. I'm really, really going to try. But once again, online. I'm always looking for, everybody's always looking for that quick fix to lose weight. Guess what? It's not out there. It takes hard work. It really does. But, you know, anything in life that comes easy, do you really appreciate it? No. Like I said, when Jim and I got married, we bought a bed with our wedding money. And I've told this before, but I'll tell you again. Yeah, we had the TV that I got for my 16th birthday, the lamps that he made in 7th grade shop. We had some TV tables and card table that we got for shower gifts, and that was our kitchen table, and those were our bedside nightstands. And we had an old dresser that was Jim's in his room, you know, from when he was growing up. And the flat that we rented came with a stove and refrigerator. And you know what? I appreciated every single thing that we ever got. And our first major purchase, young and foolish, was a complete stereo system. It's like, what? A stereo system? What are you thinking? But and we got it, and we had some crates that because I worked at a fruit market, and we just kind of arranged it on that, and it looked so nice. So as we were sitting on the floor, we could listen to the great stereo system that we had. But yeah, like I said, we were young and foolish with money, and then we went and bought a car that was way out of our price range, and it's just. But you know what? We struggled all of our lives, but we're still together, and we still have so much to show for it. And but anyway, I'm off track. Sorry about that. Little bit of a story. It was fun. I'll tell you a cute story. On our very first anniversary, like I said, we lived in an upper flat, and we lived on a fire route for the fire station, and they'd come down our street, so there was only parking on the one side of the street. And most of the houses in the block were upper and lower flats, and so you had to get there. Your spots were usually gone. You didn't have a good parking spot. But anyway, when we'd come, it was easier to come from like this way to get to our street, but then you had to turn around to come to park on the other side of the street because it was just the shorter way to get to my house. And so on our first anniversary, Jim was working overtime, and he was working with his friend who's gone now, but John, and he passed much too early. But anyway, they were working late, and I kept thinking, well, Jim's making all kinds of money. This is going to be a really, really good paycheck this week because he's got all this overtime. And we were supposed to go out for our anniversary, and I was more happy that he was I was happier that he was working, so we'd have some extra money. And the flat that I had an upper porch. It really wasn't a porch. It was like the roof kind of extended, and you could sit on the roof. It's kind of odd, but we sat on the roof. And so I saw this car coming down the street like late, and it was going like swaying. And I'm thinking, look at that drunk. Who the heck is that drunk? And then did they not come around and go up the curb and down the curb and up the curb and down the curb and up the curb and down the curb and up the curb and then parked in front of in front of my house because there was a parking spot. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's my car. And then does not Jim and John get out of this car drunk, so drunk, they were falling down drunk. They were just falling down drunk. No, he didn't work overtime. He went to the bar with John. I was so pissed. So he comes upstairs and he snaps his fingers. I can't snap my fingers, but he snapped his fingers and he said, make up the bed for John. And I went, make up the bed yourself. And I went into the bedroom and slammed the door. And I don't drink coffee, but in the morning when I woke up, I smelled coffee and I smelled bacon and eggs cooking. And I looked and Jim's still sleeping next to me and I forgot that John was there. And I come out and John was sitting there and he says, I figured the least I could do was make you breakfast. I'm so sorry. So Jim and I still remember that anniversary. But anyway, onto the real serious business now. Lead me astray. But I read an article about 5 money lessons that I've learned from Weight Watchers by Savannah Wilson. And she said that she joined because there was a good deal. She compares it to being on a budget and budgeting your money and budgeting your diet. And the only reason she joined Weight Watchers was because they had a deal going on. How many of us have joined because of that? I know that's why I joined, because it was like you got 3 months for like a certain price. And then I just stayed. I'm worth the money. But she learned that Weight Watchers is portion control, which is equal to, is equivalent to having a budget. So being on, it's equivalent to, I'm screwing this up. If you compare a budget with the food, it's the same thing, because you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. If, like I said, Jim and I, we didn't make any sacrifices. We just used credit, which is not good. Forget that, not good. But when you make positive changes, would include sacrifices, and sometimes you're just going to have to give up some of that food that you really, really like. And not to give it up completely, but just to know that you have to eat it within limitations. You can't go crazy like you did before. And a lot of times you think, well, I have all the right tools. I have recipes that I can follow. I have my Weight Watchers meeting that I can go to. I have people on YouTube that I can follow. I have apps on my phone. You can go on the internet and you can find support and everything. But the best tool you got working for yourself is you. Not me, you. Because I'm not there while you're eating. I'm not there while you're making poor choices. And I'm not there when you're making good choices. You do that on your own. Nobody makes you make your choices. You know, nobody's, you know, like there's things in life you have to do. You have to pay taxes and, you know, you have to go to the doctors once a year and stuff. But you just, you're the one that's in control of all this. And you're the one that's going to be successful or a failure. Nobody else is going to be, you can't lay that blame on anybody else but yourself. But we all want the program to work for us, and sometimes we just overlook the fact that we need to work the program, and we need to put in some effort. And that doesn't mean that you have to completely give up like sweets and candy and cakes and ice creams. It just means that you have to limit them. You can't have them like you did in excess before. I used to go to Taco Bell, and well, I haven't been to Taco Bell in a long time, but I used to go and I would get like the Nachos Bel Grande, and it would come with 2 tacos with the Coke. But I always got 2 Mexi Melts, and I always got a Pintos and cheese with extra red sauce and extra cheese. And now when I do go to Taco Bell, which has been a while, but I limit it. If I'm going to get just the Nachos Bel Grande, I don't get the whole meal. I just get the Nachos Bel Grande. Not to say that that's good, but I've made adjustments. That's what I'm trying to say. So you want to develop a relationship with the food, which is more about mindfulness and not about restriction. And like I said, you just have to be mindful of what you're eating and don't go crazy with what you're eating. Know that it's not completely eliminated from your life, but your old way of eating is completely gone. You can't go back to that old way of eating, because if you do go back to that old way of eating, you're just going to put all your weight back on. I refuse to go back to my old way of eating. I'm not saying that the binge Sandy's not going to show up every once in a while. But I'm not going to let her overstay her welcome. She's going to be hitting the door before she knows it, because I'm not going to go back. I feel lighter in my steps when I walk. I feel my weight loss coming off now. It's taken a while to feel it, I'll be honest with you, but I feel it now, and I know I'm going to do it. So what you got to remember is you're going to compare. She gave us 5 tips in comparing being on a diet with being on a budget. So number 1, she said, was like calories, all dollars are not equal. And what she means by that is just because something's a 0 point doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot of calories in it. So you're going to have to make choices and not go crazy. You know, like before you could only have like 3 or 4 ounces of chicken, and now you can have like 10 or 12. Do you really need 10 or 12 ounces of chicken? No, you really don't. So you just got to make a good choice on that. And sometimes your dollar is invested. If you spend $1, the dollar's gone. But you spend the dollar to invest it in something, then you can make more money. So you just have to compare the two and realize the correlation. Hopefully that makes sense. Number 2, people always have an opinion. People are always going to tell you, you know, you've been on that diet long enough. You know, you look good. You've lost enough weight. Do you really need to worry about that? These same people wouldn't tell you, oh, you know, you need to go buy a new car. You need to spend all your money doing that. And, you know, nobody tells you how to spend your money, so nobody should tell you how to spend your money on food or how you eat the food. You know how you feel. You know how you're going to react. Number 3, if you cheat, the only person you hurt is yourself. Not that I don't cheat. I think what they mean is don't be dishonest with yourself. If you put in like, on your tracker, you put that I used a teaspoon of sugar, but you put like a heaping teaspoon of sugar, that's kind of cheating. And who are you cheating but yourself? Because it's going to show up on the scale. And so the comparing it to the money is if you're going to go buy something, if you use a credit card instead of a debit card, you're kind of cheating yourself because, you know, you said you weren't going to use the credit card anymore, but you thought, it's just easier to use the credit card. And then you're going to pay extra in the long run because you're going to pay interest unless you pay your balance off every month. I don't do that yet, but I will, Kelly. I will. And sometimes you have to spend a little more to earn a little bit more. And you need to spend a little to earn a little bit more. And if you spend money for this program, you have a greater chance of staying on it. If I pay $56 a month, I'm not going to waste that money. I'm going to get something out of it. I'm going to lose weight, and that's just the way it is. And a lot of times you don't want to spend money to go to the doctors to pay your deductibles, but you need it. You don't want to spend money to cut your hair, but you're not going to cut your own hair. So you got to think of how you're investing your money as opposed to how you're investing your food. And the last thing to remember is there are no quick fixes. If you restrict yourself to something, you're going to fail. You really are. You need to have whatever you want in your life. So enjoy it. Track it, move on, and go on. And the same thing with your money. You know, you're not going to say that you're going to get out of debt overnight. It takes work. And the same thing with diet. It takes work. So those are my thoughts. See you at breakfast. Okay, I'm like a child. There's my happy plate. I started my day with a prayer. I drank 50 ounces of water. My quote I got from Weight Watchers with Carrie, who saw it on Kim's, the Fit and Fabulous Mama's Instagram post, which is, every now and then it's good to stop climbing and appreciate the view from where you are. You know, every once in a while you just have to realize how far you've come and be happy with that. 0 for your eggs, your banana, the grapefruit, my tomato, my tea and my water, and 3 points for my 1 ounce of pepper cheese, so it's 3-point breakfast. I have 21 points left for the day. I'm going to have a raspberry twist artificially flavored green tea for my breakfast today. Okay, 2 parts today. See you in a bit.